Okay, it's time for Science and Tech News with CTV Science and Tech expert Dan Riskin joining us and feeling energetic.
Yeah.
He goes to Australia on Wednesday. Dan, we're going to miss you, but
I will
excited
miss you.
for you.
I'm just going to learn about science so I can come back and be better for you.
Of course you are.
Doing it for
exactly.
you.
All right, changing hemispheres and everything. Okay, you'll stay off social media the whole time, I'm sure.
I will, because I'm under the age of 10. Well, they have, in Australia, they have the rules.
They have the ban.
They have the ban for kids on social media. And there's a new paper, one of the papers that I wanted to talk to you about this week, is about the effects of social media on teens. And so for this study, it was done in the U.S. They tracked a bunch of teens from about the age of 9 until about the age of 13. And when it started, the teens were basically all in the same category that they were not on social media. And then when you fast forward 3 years, some of them were on social media more than 3 hours a day. Some of them were on social media an hour a day. And some of them were just not on social media, less than 20 minutes a day, mostly zero. And they looked at the scores of these kids on a bunch of tests of reading skills, also like, what's this a picture of, vocabulary skills, all these other things. And there was this really clear signal that the kids that are on social media more do poorly on those tests. And the thinking is, it's just a kid only has so many hours in a day. And if they're on social media, they're not reading. They're not playing with physical objects. They're not doing the other things. Now, the signal wasn't huge, right? So the variability, like if you look at a bunch of kids, the standard deviation is going to be like 15. This was like a difference of about 2. So it's significant, but it's not like all of a sudden they move to a new group of kids. But it is not, you're working against your kid if you're putting them on social media. You're not helping them achieve things scholastically.
I wonder if they have a study on that based on, like, let's say if they're doing a video game or they're doing virtual reality.
This was social media.
So TikTok, Instagram, these things. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, YouTube maybe.
Interesting.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay, another reason to limit those screen times if they're doing something like that. Okay, and this is interesting, Dan. I was actually counting how many times you used your hands while you were talking about that, because moving your hands actually makes you more persuasive. People connect with you more.
Yes, they do. Very much. This much, in fact. So this is a study. The first thing they did was look at TED Talks and TEDx Talks. And then they had AI quantify the hand gestures. It's really hard to talk about this without just thinking about how my hands are moving.
It's really amazing.
Anyway, but what they found is when people move their hands more, they get more likes on those videos. But it's not just any hand motion. If you're just pointing to things or just gesturing for no reason, it doesn't have an effect. But when you are showing like the size of something or showing like, gesturing that, so like these hand gestures shouldn't have an effect because he's just bouncing his hands.
Right.
But if you were saying, the fish was this big, or they occur in layers, and you're like putting your hands like this, those kinds of hand gestures where you're illustrating your point, those help you score better. And then they did a second half of the study where they had people do like Dragon's Den style pitches, and it was controlled. Sometimes they were allowed to use their hands, and sometimes they weren't. And they found the same signal. It's more persuasive if you can use your hands, but you need to use them right. So that it has to be the big thing that you're doing in your talk to make it better.
Okay. Wow, that's fascinating.
It is neat. It is neat. And it's hard not to think about it.
And there are certain
all the time.
cultures who are much more hand speakers than others, right? So that's really interesting to see if they're in fact more persuasive. All right, Dan, we've kind of highlighted this is the last time we're going to see you until January. So you've combed through your newsletters and all the stories you've brought us over the last 50-odd weeks, and you've got your favorite story of 2025 now.
What is it? And you think it's going to be AI, but of course, it's a bat story. There was this great paper about these big bats called Vampirum spectrum. That's how big they are. That's my friend Enrico. That's one of these things. They're carnivorous bats. They eat other bats. They eat mice. They eat birds. And I've never seen one, but look how big that is.
Look at that.
Look at how good looking that bat is. Anyway, so this study, they found out that when these bats are roosting in the tree together, they hug. They love each other. Yeah, so the mom and the dad, they have 2 pups that live with them. And whenever somebody comes home, they all hug each other whenever they come home. And you just like, and it's cool because they're big predators. And so they're intelligent. They have, the babies play and they, they bring them food and there's all these things about them. And just they're getting to see the sort of life of these bats made me so happy.
Dan, I have a question. Are bats more in the bird family or the rodent family?
Neither. They're mammals, so they're closer to rodents, but they're not a type of rodent and they're not a type of bird. They are just their own thing. So here you go. There's Dad bringing a dead mouse back, and there's baby coming to get it. So dad's going to hand it off to the baby.
Whoa.
And so they basically set up a video camera in a hollow tree in Mexico.
Wow.
I've never seen these bats. I've set up nets in the places where these bats live dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and I've just never seen one.
Wait, what's it called again, this bat?
Vampirum spectrum.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is,
I thought your top story was going to be our pickleball.
Pickleball was
not.
a close second. Close second is how well we didn't.
Hey, Dan, best of the season.
my
Happy
gosh,
holidays,
Dan,
Merry Christmas.
happy holidays.
See you in 2026.
Happy
Dan.
holidays to you. We'll
thanks
see you
for all
next
the wild
year.
stuff you brought us.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
pleasure.
fascinating.
Always great.
And all that gesturing really makes it even more effective.